Welcome to another episode on my walking robot made of fischertechnik and based on the fischertechnik TXT controller running embedded Linux. Last time I reconstructed the robot. I finished the reconstruction by adding this enhancement and on the other side as well. And I tried to walk, which resulted in the loss of some movement, and that turned out to be due to some wiring. Also, something that bothers me a great deal is that the controller goes power off quite often. And I think that may be due to the wiring and not particularly due to either the controller or the battery pack. So what I want to do is check the wiring. Because so far the slightest touch also causes a loss of power, but if I look at this, everything looks quite alright. And this is nice. If it was just a small wire, it would be out of it immediately, or broken at least. Although this goes out very easily, I have to admit. So if I widen this connector just a bit, that is much better. This is good. Now of course the other question is, how about this end? These feel alright. This doesn't go out as easy, and neither does this. But it won't hurt looking at wiring. And that looks like alright to me. This as well. So they make good contact, both in the sockets as in here. So that should not be the problem. Another problem that does gives me some worries is this one. And I can't easily get it out because of this construction that I created. So I'm afraid this isn't as easy to solve. And you see how easy I can get it out. So that's another thing. I have to remove this in order to solve this. And if I remember correctly, I already tried to do it, but this clearly needs a solution. So in order to get to the motor wire, I have to take these out. And it gets more okay. One of the legs goes off. I don't mind for now. Red gear comes off. And then this is a real problem. Let me support it. And the question is, of course, will this actually help? And so far, it proves to be a problem. But let's see how this works out. Alright, this is much better now. This comes out too easily as well, so let's first mount this one again. And best thing to do is do it like this. This way, of course. And then the other way, the other side as well. A leg is missing, but I don't care for now. This wire is way too soft way too weak in the motor as well. And I will solve that in the same way. And I also have to make sure that this leg doesn't come off as easy. Anyway, I showed you one side. I'll do the other side off cam because it's the same thing. Alright, both sides have now been fixed. No, they haven't. This is a problem. So I have to fix this right away. And this one has to go right like this on it. Now it's fixed, I hope. And this red gear on both sides tend to come off when the pressure is, or when the pressure is quite high. So I wonder how those will be. In the meantime, everything is still there. So freshly charged battery. Let's see how this works out. And it's running the community edition. I just realized. which means I'm going to go via the laptop. Using Linux. That should be the problem, of course. Last time I had a problem with this firmware version. It took a brand new large card, starting with 8 gigabytes, which is not available or hardly available anymore, because everybody wants more and more and more. Now there's a 20 gigabytes and it works flawlessly. So now I am on the default firmware actually the controller firmware of 4.2.4 and the latest community firmware. Also the default firmware, default firmware is 4.2.4. So that's all nice, and now I hope the laptop is quite fast. Logging in, FTC add. I can't connect to the host. Oh, that's not good. If I use the other one, that is not the case either. I wonder, why is it not connecting to the host? This is bad. I get a clear message, connect to host, port 22, now route to host. So if I now check the network, it says the correct address. Wireless LAN status. I think there has gone something wrong. But let's see how this ends up now. Now I have to re-establish the connection, unfortunately. Yeah, that's a bummer. It did forget it somehow, because it did work. Alright, I have booted the laptop, and as you can see here, I had some problem using the fixed address. Then I tried the other address, a little bit confused. This is the address of my other TXT robot, which is of course now not available. It's off. And then using the menu on the robot, I found out it has 202, which is a DHCP address. It gets it from my wireless network. I don't want to use it, but I can use it, so I did it, and I said, alright, I'm in. I exited, and then I found a weird thing that in the address it says 202, and when pressing for the static address it's still listed 134. So I recycled power, found that it now suddenly worked. Remote host identification has changed. Yes, because that is the, as it says, the host key, which is used for SSH communication for safety, and that I had to change, and this means that now I am in. I can do all kinds of things. Last time I did have a problem, and by the way, you will notice in the video that this is not high definition, not full HD, which is correct because this is the old laptop I used to use whenever I was doing something that I didn't record on video. Anyway, I have to change something, and they say that because of some problems I used to have last time, no, not used to have, I had them last time, I could not run the software, and they say, well, change this to auto, and I will be very careful with this. So I will change this into auto like this, and then things should work. And yes, that is indeed a should work. Does it work? I have no idea. I haven't tested it as yet. But I will lift the robot now because I don't want to risk anything, and then I say, alright, run it. Does it work? Well, at least I don't get an error, but motors are not running anyway. Motors don't do a thing. It's totally quiet. So the connectors to the motor are perfectly fine as far as I can see, but they don't run. Let me check again. So it's not a Python thing. The lamp near the battery does work, and that's all that happens, and I don't like that. Anyway, time to go to the other place where I can get signals from the motor using the oscilloscope. So now I am set on my location for the oscilloscope, pulse width modulation, signaling, etc. And the question is, what signals will it give? Because the motors don't do anything. So lifting it again. And oh, that's not much. No wonder they don't do anything. There's no signal. And as you can see, it is on pulse modulation. Although the time setting may be a bit off now. But let me just change it a bit. 50 milliseconds, but flat line is flat line, I'm afraid. So I don't know what's going on, but this is not good. This is not good at all. So it was no coincidence that on the other location the motors didn't do anything. What I can do now is change to the default firmware and see whatever that gives. So low out here, low out here, power off. Eject the memory card and power on. And now I see that the signals are coming through here. Alright, so that means that I have to log in using Robo Pro now. Oh wait, I still have to wait for the connection that is coming in. It's in, so now I can indeed no, that's not the correct one. I do a lot on these things except for these robots, so alright, this is the one. I'm in. Let's see what happens now. Oh, that is a very convincing except for the gearing here is totally gone again. The distance is way too large, so the reconstruction on this part has not worked. That is one sad conclusion. You can see, let me shine some light. You can see that this gear is totally not doing anything. The whole gearing, by the way, isn't. So the connector that I showed you at the beginning of this video is still in place. So that's one positive thing. The sound works now and then. So that's one thing. So I'm going back to the community firmware now. Right. Card in. Power up. And something is very irritating, namely that for some reason, despite me getting this address correct, that the controller seems to forget the key from this computer. So I have to acknowledge, and that is not that should not be necessary, since I'm logging in using FTC. Without logging in as FTC, I can imagine it has to do that, it has to verify, but logging in using username, that shouldn't happen. Anyway, checking the motor, and I hope for a nice positive modulation on the... Oh, yeah, that's clumsy. And now I'm in without acknowledging. Running. Nothing. Really nothing at all. So what is my software here then now? Is it really the software I used to have? I'm starting to doubt. I start to seriously doubt that it is the same software I used to have. Although it doesn't even set it there. I need to find out if this software is indeed the correct version. Anyway, some strange things happening. Some very strange things. Yeah, it says set distance, set speed. So that should work anyway. 400 pulses. And set speed, maximum speed. It should work anyway. So what's going on, I don't know. I know it does work because the default firmware does its job. But why this doesn't work, who knows. Anyway, what did I do? Checking the wires, both under and on. Well, mostly from battery to controller. Finding out that wireless LAN on the community firmware does have a change somehow. I have yet to get a nice answer, or an answer anyway, from the community. And well, finding out that I have a setback on walking. For now, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and like the video. Follow me on Twitter, retweet and like. Follow me on Instagram and like. Please donate to keep the videos coming your way. More information, please see my website. And this is of course to be continued. Bye bye.